Hi, and welcome to the 11th video in the C# for Beginners tutorial series. In the last videos, we looked at if statements and nested if statements, and I kind of foreshadowed this video for the switch statements. So very similar to the if statements, it will be a conditional statement. So it'll basically be able to make decisions based on certain conditions. And after this video, I will go over the differences of where you would probably prefer to use a switch statement and where you would prefer to use an if-else statement, although you can use either one in basically every scenario. The only thing that really changes is maybe how complex it will be to write. So let's actually go ahead and let's get started with the switch statements here. So we're going to first just look to see how this is actually created. So it is just by writing the word switch, and then it'll be an open close parentheses, and then you'll have a variable name in here, and then you will have a open and close curly brackets. So let's just do an int age here at the top, and let's just assign this to 18 here. All right, so once we have our switch statement created, then we have to assign it different cases. And these cases will be each scenario that we would have for a condition on our variable. So an example would be case is 18, and then we would have a colon, and then we would just go into it, and then we could do console dot write line you are 18 years old, and we can have a semicolon. Now, what is absolutely necessary in switch statements, at the end of your case, you always have to add the word break and a semicolon. And then we can add another case here. We can just do 20 console.write line. You are 20 years old. And then we just have to add another break statement. And then for the else, so this would be very similar to if the age is equal to 18, else if the age is equal to 20. And then we have our default. So the default case is actually else. So you don't actually have to write case in front of it. You could just write the word default. And then we can just say console.writeLine. You are not 18 or 20 years old. And break. So if we run this, we should actually see that we are 18 years old. And actually, I'll take that out there. So once we run our code, we can see that we do get you are 18 years old. If we switch this to 19, we will see that you are not 18 or 20 years old. This is because the age is 19. It's not equal to 18. It's not equal to 20. So it goes into the default and says you are not 18 or 20 years old. And then if we put it to 20, we actually go ahead and you are 20 years old. So that is perfect. Now you might be wondering, that's not very useful because what if I wanted to check if something is greater than or lesser than a number? Well, you can actually do that as well. So let's do a lesser than or equals to 17. You are under 18 years old. And then we are going to go ahead and, oh, actually that is greater than. So that's lesser than. And then we are going to do a 18. We're just going to say you are 18 years old. And then we're going to add another case here of, actually, yeah, we're going to add another case here. And we are going to say greater than or equals to 19. And we're going to say console dot write line. You are older than 18 years old. And we just need to add the break statement here. Now, if you don't have this break statement, you will see that you will get a red squiggly line underneath the case that is missing it, basically saying that you're going to fall through this case and into the next case. So it forces you to put that break to get that appropriate functionality. If you have watched I believe the Python videos, Python doesn't force you to put the breaks. So if you don't put the breaks, you'll actually cascade through all the different cases. So let's do a console. So that's good. So now if we have our age set to 13, we will actually see that we are under 18 years old because our age is 13. It does evaluate as under 17. So it goes right in there. And then we can actually see if we put it to 22, we get the you are older than 18 years old. That actually should read, oh yeah, you are older than 18. Because if you are 18, so let's put our age to 18. We get you are 18 years old. Now, what if we had a situation to where we had this? So we have two cases that can be filled with the same condition in reality, because we are 18 and we are also greater than or equal to 18. So you are older. So you are or are older than 18 years old. So if we actually select this option now, we will see that we get the first one. We will not get to the second one. So it does check in order of your cases. So you always have to be sure, similar to the if statements, you always want your priority to be the highest priority to the lowest priority of what you would want to output. So if you have a case that could overlap, you just always want to make sure that your first one is in the list is the one that you're going to want to appear in case of a two matching cases. You should probably avoid to have matching cases because in reality, probably shouldn't be happening in a decision statement. It should be very clear one or the other. Now we've only seen with integers, but you can actually do this with strings as well, or any variable really. So let's do a string name, and let's put admin here. And we are going to switch on name. So let's just do switch admin, and then switch test, and switch jacked programmer, all lowercase. So you are admin, and then you are test, and then you are jacked programmer. And then for our default case, we're going to say, I don't know who you are. All right, so if we actually put this in here now, we will get that we are admin. And if we actually go ahead and put the lowercase a in here, is we are going to get I don't know who you are. So you do have to be wary that C# is actually case sensitive. We've seen this before, but switch statements are exactly the same. So you do have to be sure that it is case sensitive. So you will want to match the case. So that could be something that you might want to have multiple cases for. Now, a great way to actually bypass this case sensitive issue, because we don't know, especially in this case, if we're taking in the input from the user, we might not know if they are putting capitals or lower cases. So what I would actually recommend here was, we've seen this before in the string manipulations, we can actually add a to lower here, and this will do the switch on the name with all lowercase characters. So we can actually do admin test. And then here, even if we put all capitals, we will actually get you are admin. Now you can actually add as well multiple cases. So let's say we wanted admin, but we also want if your name is Jacked. So now if we do Jacked here, we will get that you are admin as well. So if you can actually combine cases as well, so you could actually put the multiple spellings in here, but I would say to remove the case sensitivity, always do the switch on a 2 lower. I find like that's usually my go-to. You could do a 2 upper. Really depends on if you prefer uppercase or lowercase. I find lowercase is a little bit neater and easier to read in my case. But that is pretty much it for that. So that will let you easily verify one condition. Now, the main difference between the switch statements and the if statements, both of them do the exact same thing. They are both decisions. The switch statements actually do have slightly better performance because it doesn't actually have to do the condition check. It already knows all the different, it checks that variable once, it knows exactly what case to go into, so it just strikes that case. So in this example, it would be, all right, my name is Jacked. What case does it match? It matches this one. And then it knows instantly right away what to execute, and then it just breaks out of it. Now, if we had if statements, it would have if name is equal to admin or name is equal to Jacked. Now, in this case, it would go right away into the first one. But as soon as you get to multiple different conditions or multiple different cases, the switch case is a lot faster. Probably not noticeable, especially with today's computers, but just be aware that it is a little bit more efficient to use switch statements in most cases. And also it is much easier to read and see the different options. Now it works great for single variable or single conditions, so checking name. But let's say we had a name, we had age, we had location, and we were making decisions based on 2 or more variables. The if else statements are probably going to be a lot easier to handle and a lot nicer to read and write as well. So they definitely have both their benefits. I would say switch statements, keep them for single variable conditions, and then the if else statements for 2 or more variable conditions. And this will just simplify your life in writing and reading your code afterwards. So that is pretty much it for switch statements. So in the next couple videos, we're going to be looking at the different kinds of loops in C#. So we're going to be looking at for loops, while loops, and do while loops. So be sure to check those out as well. If you have any comments or questions about this video, or if you have questions on any other programming topic, please let me know down in the comments below. If it's a question that I think would benefit a lot of people, as always, I'll be making a video on it. If it's something a little bit more specific, I will answer you directly. And also be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and also be sure to hit that notification bell to be notified when the next video comes out. And I will see you guys on the next video.